You talk about healing pathways in the book, and you talk about these concept of the 4 A's, and I just wondered if you might be able to briefly talk to us about, authenticity and agency and anger and acceptance, because it just feels like it could be a helpful thing for people.
Sure. So, as much as we talk about what trauma is and how child rearing practices in our society actually often traumatize our kids and all the trauma that shows up in our social life and our politics, this is a book that's intended to help people heal. And part of the healing is just to wake up, as I said earlier, but then we also want to show some pathways towards that healing, which is, by the way, another word for wholeness. And those 4 A's are some of the principles that I've learned over the years. So, anger, not in any particular order. As you mentioned earlier, we do have a circuit in our brain for anger, and there's a good reason for it. Because healthy anger protects our boundaries. I mean, if I want to know what healthy anger is, try and step into the territory of a mother bear when the cubs are around. You're going to find out what healthy anger is. No, this is my space, get out. We all need that. For a lot of us, that boundary is blurred early in childhood because, again, we were socialized into being good and compliant and to repress our emotions. Um, so, healthy anger, a lot of people find that they repress the healthy anger, which is actually a source of illness. And very often, the pathway back to healing is to finding your healthy anger, your healthy boundaries, which means not putting up with stressful situations. You know, a wife not putting up with her husband's workaholism. You've written a book called When the Body Says No, and a wife won't go when the wife says no. That's healthy anger. They say, this is my boundary. You're overstepping it. You bring your stuff into the home. It doesn't belong here. Work it out. You know, that's healthy anger. As opposed to sort of untrammeled rage, which is also unhealthy. So with anger, if you repress it or suppress it, that's not healthy. But if you also are given to uncontrolled rage episodes, that's equally unhealthy in different ways. So healthy anger is what we're teaching here. Um, Agency, there's such passivity in our culture. People are we're living our little lives, but we're so passive often in the face of circumstances, you know. And so agency is is essential. That who's in charge of my life? Whose life is this anyway? I mean, I'm the only one that can take responsibility, and so that sense of agency that I'm making these decisions. I mean, I'm looking at the alternatives. I'm looking at the possibilities, but amongst what's available, I'm the one who decides. So that's agency. And that's so important for healing. In the Western world, again, in Western medicine, for all the brilliance of Western medical techniques and curing modalities, there's still a tendency for the patient to be a passive recipient of the healthcare rather than being the agent who actually decides what will I accept and what will I not. And that's not helpful to people. So agency. Um, Acceptance doesn't mean tolerance. Acceptance means I accept that this is the situation right now. Now with my agency, I get to decide what I want to do with it. But I'm not going to deny how it is. I'm not going to resent how it is. I'm going to decide whether I like it or not. But I'm going to accept that for now, this is what it is. And I'm sitting in the middle of a traffic jam. There's no point resenting that there's a traffic jam. I'm in a traffic jam right now. I'm going to be half an hour late to wherever I'm going. I didn't create the traffic jam, but here it is. Now, if you look at the resentment, if you've ever felt resentment, it's not just emotional dynamic. It's in your body. Your viscera are tense. Your muscles are tense. That's toxic to you. So that's not healthy for you. So acceptance is okay. This is how it is. Now with my agency, what do I do about it? If there's anything I can do about it. So there's anger, there's agency, there's acceptance. What's the fourth one, Brian?
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Yeah, it's a big one. So again, in our childhoods, we're often presented with a dilemma. Authenticity The attachment relationship where we're nurtured is indispensable for any mammalian infant. I mean, they just don't survive. Even little birds don't survive without that attachment relationship, without the parent wanting to be close to the infant and the infant wanting to be close to the parent for the sake of being taken care of or taking care of the other. So that attachment is just a non-negotiable need. And in the human sense, it's not just physical needs that are being met, but emotional needs are being met through the attachment relationship. And those are just as important as our physical needs for our healthy development. So attachment is not negotiable. However, if you look at our evolution, where did we evolve? We evolved out there in nature, where we had to be in touch with our emotions. That's authenticity, auto the self, knowing what we feel and being able to act on it. I mean, out there in nature, just how long do you survive if you're not in touch with your gut feelings? Any creature, you know? And when I speak to audiences, I can ask you, have you ever had the experience of having a strong gut feeling about something, ignoring it, and feeling sorry afterwards?
Yes.
And most of us will say yes. Well, that tells a story about childhood, because no infant is born not respecting their gut feelings. So something happens to most of us where we make a decision and we have to give up our authenticity, our connection to ourselves, in order to belong to our families of origin and to our society. So there's this tension between authenticity and attachment, and we go for the attachment every time. We go for the being accepted and being nurtured and being liked and so on. Once that we make that decision, it's not a conscious decision, it's an automatic one. It becomes our lodestar, and we follow it. So we keep choosing attachment, other people's acceptance of us over our own authentic feelings and opinions and sense of self. And that leads to pathology of mind and body. So authenticity then, as a child, I had no choice. You had no choice. No child had a choice. Do I choose authenticity or attachment? Without the attachment, you can't live. As adults, though, we have to realize the price that we're paying for not being ourselves. And we have a decision to make. Am I still a helpless child who has to choose the attachment over the authenticity? Or if need be, can I choose the authenticity instead, even at the risk of losing some attachment relationships? Or even better, can I choose such adult attachment relationships where I don't have to sacrifice my authenticity?
Right. Right.
So that's why authenticity is so important.
Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.